Good afternoon, class. This lecture is going to cover Module 4, Microsoft Word. It's actually the first module in the Microsoft Word, I guess you would say unit, but it's Module 4 in the textbook. So, first thing we're going to learn how to do is create a document. The module objectives are create a new document from an existing file, enter text in a document, select and edit text. We're going to learn how to copy text, move text, find and replace text, format text using the mini toolbar, check spelling and grammar, and then preview and print a document. So there's a couple ways to create a new document. One of those is creating a document from an existing file. This is useful if the document that you need to create uses content from an existing document. For example, if there's some type of standard form that you might have to create on a normal or a regular occasion, you can simply save a copy of a previous version of that form, change whatever text needs to be changed or whatever information needs to be changed in that document, save as the new document name, and you've created your document. Very simple. The other way would be, or one of the other ways would be to create from a template, which is kind of gives you an outline for what your document would look like, or even just creating from a blank document. So there's 2 or 3 ways to create a new document. And when you save as, back to the creating a new document from an existing file, when you save as and then title the new document a different name, then that keeps the original file intact, as the 3rd bullet point states. So it's saved. It's a time saver. Prevents duplicate work, and it's something that everyone definitely needs to learn how to use. Here's an example or a screenshot of the backstage view of Microsoft Word. You can see it's step 2. Click that command. That would be where you would navigate to locate your other document that you want to create your new document from. And while we're on this screenshot, you'll see to the right you have a lot of different, a lot of other features like the blank document, which is right here. If you wanted to start a blank document, you would click that icon. If you wanted to use a template, all of the other icons you see here link to a template that can be used to begin a new document as well. Alright, so while we just mentioned templates, so just to give a little more information on a template. Template is a file that contains pre-designed formatting and text for common business documents. And we'll use the same steps as we would for creating a new document from an existing file by going to the backstage view. You do that by clicking the File tab, New, and open to the new screen in backstage view, and then click the template that you want, like we just demonstrated on the previous slide. Alright, so that's how we create new documents. There's a couple of 2 or 3 options. Entering text in a document, that's fairly simple. You click with your mouse the position in the file that you would like to insert text. If it's a new file, blank file, that cursor will already be flashing at the top left hand side of the document, so you would start your text insertion there. Or if you want to move the cursor down, there's various ways to do that, mostly by using the tab key or maybe even the enter key to move your cursor down. There's several different ways of doing that. And before you start typing, you'll want to check that you're in print layout view, which is the default view for entering text and editing text. What it does, print layout view actually shows you what your document will look like if it's printed on, if it's printed out. So that gives you an idea of what your input's going to look like, and you can edit it accordingly. All right, next page. As you continue to type, most of you probably have never used a typewriter. If you have, it's been some time ago. back before we had word processing programs like Microsoft Word, when you typed a line of text, you had to hit return at the end of the line so the typewriter would jump back to the next line. It's called a carriage return line feed. CRLF is what that is called. But with Microsoft Word, the text wraps automatically when it gets to the end of the line, based on how the margins are set, and it wraps automatically for you around to the next line. So that's not something that you have to worry about. Also, there are a few other features that I'd like to talk about on this slide. The autocorrect feature, that will automatically make the corrections for certain words, like the word "the." If you were to type the characters T, E, and H, autocorrect will automatically make the correction to THE. The reason why it automatically corrects that particular word is because there are really no other possible corrections for the misspelled word TEH. In instances where there are other options or other possibilities for a word to be misspelled, the line will be underlined with a squiggly red line. You can right click on that word that's misspelled, and autocorrect will give you a list of options for possible correct spellings. Depending on how bad the word is misspelled, sometimes you'll get the right answer, sometimes you won't. It really just depends on how far off the spelling is. Also, if the first letter of the word is incorrect, sometimes you'll get a list of possible corrections that are not anywhere near what you would expect them to be. So that's just a couple of pointers there on autocorrect. Alright, let's see. Here's an example of figure 4-4 in the textbook. Gives you an example of the show hide button, what that is. As you can see, it shows some of the non-printable characters, like the paragraph symbol. If there were tabs or spaces, you might not be able to tell from the slide, but there are dots in between the words in this sentence that represents spaces. If you were to tab, I don't see any tabs present in this screenshot, but that would be an arrow pointing to the next tab spot. Next tab stop. Alright, a little bit more on autocorrect. The feature works automatically to correct and catch incorrect spelling of common words as you type them, and you can change the autocorrect settings in the autocorrect dialog box depending on what your preferences are. You can see in the example that the words "the company," the drop down arrow there is in the autocorrect icon gives a couple of options of changing back to COMAPNY, which was the misspelled version of the word company, which is the word that's highlighted on the screen. You can also stop automatically correcting that word, and control autocorrect options would be where you would also have the ability to tweak the options as you see fit. Now, there's one most people would ask themselves, why would I not want to correct the spelling of the word COMAPNY? Really the only situation where you would want to stop correcting a word like that is if it was, let's say, an acronym, or it was the correct spelling of a word that's not in Microsoft Word's dictionary that it references when it's looking for misspelled words. Most of the time you'll be acronyms or some other type of word that's not a commonly used word. A lot of times technical specifications will have words that don't fall in that dictionary, and you'll get a misspelling notification, and it may actually be spelled correctly. So just keep that in mind. Let's see, for selecting and editing text, just a couple of pointers here. You can edit or modify text in a Word document in several ways. To delete individual letters, you can click to the left or right. Well, actually, for delete, you would click to the right of the unwanted letters. To set the insertion point, then press backspace, or click the left of the letters and then press delete. So to clarify, to use the backspace key, you would click to the right of the unwanted letters, use the backspace key. To use the delete key, which deletes or removes the text from left to right. You click to the left of the letters and press the delete key the correct number of times until the words that you were wanting to remove were gone. Okay. As far as selecting text, there are several ways. You can click and drag the cursor to select text. You can also click to the left of a word or right of the word, hold down the shift key, and use the arrow keys to highlight one letter at a time. You can click out in the margin to the left of a sentence, highlight the entire sentence, and that'll highlight that entire sentence. Then you can edit the text as you see fit from that point. Let's see, this figure shows a couple of those items. The selection bar right here, that's where you would select. That's the area that you would click to the left of the line of text that you would want to highlight if you want to highlight an entire row. You can see that the right facing selection pointer, the pointer changes angles, points right. You click once, it selects the entire line of text. Alright, this gives a demonstration of line spacing between paragraphs. Looks like this must be looks like a document after applying no spacing styles. So to touch on styles for just a second, I believe it was actually mentioned in a previous slide. Styles are kind of determined formatting, text or font size and font type. It's kind of prepackaged formatting that makes it's a feature of Microsoft Office, which is productivity software, and that's one of the things you should always remember is the software is designed to allow you to be more productive. So you'll notice things throughout Microsoft Office like themes and styles, and those are there to make your job a little bit easier, make the work a little bit easier on you. You really just input the text, and then you can select a theme or style, and that'll kind of give the document a professional look. So that's what styles are. We'll talk a little bit more about those later on in the course. Table 4.1 gives you methods for selecting text. Looks like there's 4 of them here. If you want to select one word, you can do that by double-clicking that word. To select an entire paragraph, you can triple-click in the paragraph. It'll select the entire paragraph. An entire document, you can simply hold down the Control key and press A at the same time. That's Control A, or Select All is what that's referred to. That'll select all the text in the document. And then the last one is one we just talked about, a line of text. Position to the left of the line in the selection area and then click. Alright, a couple other keyboard shortcuts. For moving the insertion point around, you can use the up or down arrow, the left or right arrow. The Control left or Control right will move one word to the right or left. Home or end will move you to the beginning or end of the line, and then Control home or Control end will move you to the beginning or end of the document. Now, with any of these keyboard shortcuts that are listed on the screen, if you hold down the Shift key and then use the arrows or the control arrows or the home or the end or the control home or end, you can also select the text for wherever you're moving your cursor from and to. So if you want to move your cursor down a line, hold down the Shift key, press the down arrow, it'll select all the text from your cursor down one line. That's a very useful keyboard shortcut, and it's one that I recommend everybody learn how to use. Alright, moving on. Copying text. So copying text is it's another convenience that Microsoft Office provides us. It gives you the ability to make a copy of current text, leave that text in place, and then go and make paste, what we call paste, a copy of that text somewhere else in your document or even in another document. So as you can see, copying leaves the text in its original location. Pasting moves a duplicate copy of it to the specified location. The third bullet point, to copy and paste text, you'll first need to select the text to copy, just like we talked about on the previous slide. You can use any of those selection options to select the text. And then what the copy command actually does is places a copy of the selected text on the Windows clipboard, which is a temporary storage area in your computer's memory. And then when you decide to paste that text, the paste command inserts the copy text into a new location wherever you have, wherever you put your cursor and decide to insert that text. Here's an example. You've got the top left-hand side of the figure. You see the copy button. There's also a cut button, and then you have a paste button. The small arrow that right here, the clipboard launcher, click that small arrow there, and it will open up the clipboard. And that way you can see what you have copied or cut and has been pushed onto the clipboard. Now, one word to the wise: if you use copy and paste or cut and paste without the clipboard open, you'll only be able to cut and paste, copy paste one item at a time. If you open the clipboard, then you can select up to, I believe it's like 24 items on the clipboard at once, and then you can paste any one of them at any point, however you see fit, by just simply placing your cursor, clicking wherever you want that text to go, and then coming over to the clipboard and clicking that line of text, and it'll place it in the document for you. Alright, let's see. Text placed on the Office clipboard. It's just another example. Pasted text remains on the Office clipboard and can be pasted again. So clipboard's really a neat feature, particularly if you're doing a lot of editing and you need to work. If you're working with more than a few phrases or a few words and you need to kind of copy and paste, it will open up the clipboard and you can select it from there. Alright, there's another way to copy text, and that is dragging text. Actually, it's not copying, it's more of moving text. If you highlight a line of text or a word and then click and drag it to a new location, it'll move that text, but it will not place it on the clipboard. And you can see the figure demonstrates that. Pepper's green basket is highlighted and it was dragged to a new location, but you can see it doesn't appear on the clipboard. Alright, moving text from the original location. Moving text removes it from the original location and places it in a new specified location. You can move text using the cut and paste commands. Remember, if you want to, there's a difference between copying text and moving text. Moving text takes the original text from where it is currently in the document and pastes it or puts it into another area in the document. Okay. If you use the cut command, that removes the selected text from your document and places it on the Windows clipboard as well as the Office clipboard if activated. To place the cut text in another location, you can click the paste button on the Home tab or click the item in the clipboard task pane. You can also move text by selecting it and dragging it to a new location. And as we mentioned earlier, those items will not get copied to the Windows or Office clipboard. This figure shows the cut button, the paste button, the right arrow pointers demonstrating that line of text being selected. Then you can click and drag to move it, or you can use the cut button to remove it from that section. Place your cursor and select wherever the new section of the document that you would like to paste that line of text, and then click the paste button and it'll paste it there for you. Okay. Same here, moving text by dragging. Highlight the text and then click and drag to the new location. Again, you'll see that text does not fall on the clipboard. When you click and drag, it just moves it in the document, does not push it onto the clipboard. Okay, so that was moving text, and now we're going to talk about find and replace text. So this is a really neat feature that allows you to find text within a document that you've typed or that somebody else has typed. If you need to just find the text for some reason, if you need to actually replace that text, the find and replace text feature will allow you to find each instance of that word or that phrase and then replace it with another word or phrase if that's what you are looking for or looking to do. So first bullet point there, the replace command helps you quickly and easily substitute a new word or phrase for one or more occurrences. You can do this by using the find and replace dialog box to specify the text you want to find and text with which you want to replace. You can replace every occurrence of the text in one action, or you can review each occurrence and choose to replace it or keep the text. You can also use the navigation pane to quickly highlight all instances of specific text. So this gets very useful or very handy when you have a long document. Let's say it's a research paper or some other type of paper that you've written. And let's just say, for example, let's say that you have that you figured out that you have misspelled an author's name, or maybe you've misspelled some technology that you may be writing about in your paper. So instead of having to search manually through that document that you've typed, you can use the Find and Replace feature. Type in the line or the bit of text that you want to find, use the Find button, and it will go through the document and stop at each instance of that word. Now there may be some situation that you might not want to change the text that it highlights. If not, then you just keep going on. You click Find Next. But if you do want to replace that word or that line of text, in the Replace field, you would type the word that you want Microsoft Word to use to replace that target word with. And as you find those instances of that word, you can click Replace, and it will replace that word, and then it'll move on to the next instance of the word that you were trying to find to replace. So, or you can also click Find All, Replace All, and it'll run through the entire document without you checking and replace all of those words. So that can be a little dangerous if you're not careful, because that's you don't want to accidentally overtype something that was typed correctly in the first place. Here's an example of what finding the text using the navigation pane looks like. You can see on the left hand side of the screen you've got the word suite typed in the search field right here. Looks like there's 4 results. It lists the results here, a link to each result for the instance of suite. This is if, let's say it's a long document and you don't want to scroll through the document to find them. You can click any one of these sections of text and it will jump to it. Over on the right side of the screen you can see the word suites highlighted in yellow. So all the instances of that word in the document have been found and highlighted. So in the situation where we would want to replace the word sweet with spicy, we have found the word sweet. We want to replace it with spicy. We click the Find Next, and it will find that instance or the first instance of the word sweet, and if you want to replace, you can click Replace, and it will replace that word. If you want to do it all at once, like I mentioned just a second ago, you can click Replace All, and it will replace them all. But usually most people want to kind of step through the document, make sure that what they are replacing is exactly what they want to replace, so we don't create any more errors. Alright, so that's the Find and Replace feature, very handy. The Find feature can also be triggered by using Control F. It will open up the navigation box, and then you can proceed from there. Alright, let's see, about 9 or 10 more slides to go. So formatting using the mini toolbar. The mini toolbar consists of contains only the most common formatting commands. You use the mini toolbar to make quick formatting changes to selected text. You can change the font, font style, font size. Alright, sorry for the interruption there. You can, also format selected paragraphs with bulleted lists using the mini toolbar. All the mini toolbar buttons are also available on the Home tab in Microsoft Word. So this screenshot shows what the mini toolbar looks like, and the only time you'll see the mini toolbar is when you have text selected, like we have the word congratulations selected here, and it gives you the options for selecting a different font size. You can increase the font size here, or you can use the bold, italicize, underline, highlight, or a fill color, change the font color, bulleted list, numbered list, all different types of things. Those are the most commonly used items in the home group. So they have those placed on the mini toolbar for you, and it's really just a quick toolbar to use when formatting text. So you're not constantly double clicking a word to format and going to the top of the page to go to the Home tab and select whatever feature you want to, however you want to format your text. It's just right here, very convenient, just above wherever you selected the word. Let's see. There's also a kind of the end result. We formatted the text into bold 18 point. That's what this looks like as a result. We've got a bulleted list here. And then we italicized the words "what's cooking." So that's kind of the after. You have the before and after. Alright. So moving on to check spelling and grammar. This is something that will make very bad spellers out of all of us when you get dependent on spell check. You will get very accustomed to using spell check and find that it doesn't help you remembering how to spell words correctly. So Word provides tools to ensure your documents are free of spelling and grammatical errors. Autocorrect is one of those features to correct errors that you type, or correct errors as you type, when we talked about earlier. Word also identifies possible misspellings with red wavy underlines and possible grammatical errors with green wavy underlines. The program identifies possible misspelled words by comparing each word to its built-in dictionary. I mentioned earlier, if a word is not in the word dictionary, then it can be added by simply right-clicking that word when the red wavy line appears and clicking Add to Dictionary. Or if it is actually a misspelled word, you can right-click that word that's highlighted by the red squiggly underline, and there should be some options available there to you to to select the correct word. Now, if your word's not present, the correct word, you'll just need to retype it over. Here's an example. You can see in this example here, the word below is misspelled. There's one too many E's. You've got the red squiggly underline there. That's an example of what of an identified misspelling. Let's take a look at this paragraph here. You see the word featured is kind of somewhat covered up here, but F-E-A-T-U-R-D is missing the letter E between the R and the D, right? So you right click the red squiggly line, and the shortcut menu opens with when you right click and gives you a couple of features. Gives you a couple of options, featured and feature. So depending on which word you were trying to type, it gives you a couple of options. I would probably say featured is the correct word. You would click that word and then it would automatically replace it in the paragraph, and then you can move on to your next misspelling. Let's see, you can see here in this screenshot, featured was replaced and now it's spelled correctly. And this is just another example of possible alternatives for misspelled words would appear here. And you would click to change the word to the highlighted suggestion. Whichever one is highlighted would be the one you would change it to. Click the change button and it would change it for you. Alright, so that's spelling and grammar. The last item is preview and print a document. So when you finish creating and editing, you can preview the document to see how it will look when printed. To print it, use the print screen in the Backstage view. The tools on the print screen let you specify various print settings, printer selection, and how many copies or specific pages to print. So on the View tab, you can see right here on the View tab, you have the one page button. Gives you the view of the entire document. If you have the Show Hide button selected, it'll give you all of the paragraph marks. The spaces will be marked. The tabs will be marked. This gives you a view of the entire page of the completed letter. Alright, so moving on to the print preview, you can see this is the Backstage view. You arrive at this screen by clicking the File tab, which is located here. File is always on the top left hand corner. Should be the first tab. It'll take you to this screen. You'll click the print, or you will click print, and it'll give you your printer options. So it'll give you the printer that you've selected, any type of settings, print all pages. If you want to specify particular pages, you can type them in the pages text box. If you want to change the orientation from portrait to landscape, you can do that here. You can change the paper size, and then on the right hand side of the screen you see what your printed product or your printed document will look like. So this is what it should look like. If it doesn't look like you want it to, you want to go back and edit it and change it. And then let's see, lastly, the views and that are available in Word. Views meaning the different views to view your document. Looks like there's 5 of them. You have print layout, shows all the elements of a printed page, and that's used for previewing layout of a printed page. Read mode, that's optimized for on-screen reading. Reading documents on a computer screen, usually that's 2 pages side by side. Most of you may have seen that. Web layout gives you the appearance of how the text would appear on a web page or as a web page, and that's typically used for creating a web page. Outline shows only headings in the document, and that's for reviewing the structure of a document. And then lastly, draft does not show all page elements, typing, editing, and simple formatting. So those are the available views in Microsoft Word. That's the last slide for this module. I do recommend watching, if you have questions rewatching this lecture. I'll also have the PowerPoint slide posted in Canvas shortly for all the modules if you'd like to go back and re-review the PowerPoints at all. If you have any questions, please drop me a note through Canvas using the mail feature in Canvas. Just click on the inbox icon on the left hand side of the screen and you can send me a note from there.